Now, as Cameroon prepares to vote in Sunday's presidential election, people in the two north and southwest English-speaking regions risk being excluded from the ballot for the second time. Cessationists fighting government forces for nearly 10 years have banned people from voting and declared a lockdown of the Anglophone regions. Despite the threat of violence, the government is urging people there to turn out on voting day. Now, back in 2018, voter turnout in the country's two Anglophone regions was as low as 5%, according to the International Crisis Group. Official figures gave an almost 16% turnout in the English-speaking Southwest region. Now, the BBC's Paul Njie has been speaking to some who might be turned away at the polls this time round.
Election season is here, and with it comes the hope of a new dawn. In most parts of the country, campaigns are gaining steam as over 8 million people prepare to vote their next president. But in the fragile Anglophone regions where separatist fighters have banned voting, there are fears that the election could portend big trouble. Many here are compelled to remain indoors for their own safety. This man, who we choose to call James to protect his identity, is a victim of the separatists. He became displaced after fleeing his Anglophone hometown, where he says he was shot for not adopting their ideology of secession.
I don't have a leg any longer.
Although his amputated limb and bullet scars are now indelible memories, they haven't broken his resolve to take part in the election far away from home.
I have struggled to make sure that I transfer my name in the electoral register to where I live now so that I can vote. Because I do not forget my civic right and duty as a citizen of this beautiful triangle. So I just want that life should go on.
Several international organizations like Human Rights Watch have also accused government forces of rights abuses and other atrocities. While James will be able to cast his vote, many back in the Anglophone regions are opting to stay away. The secessionists' ban on voting was also accompanied by a month-long lockdown, which has brought businesses and movements to a standstill. Though the government is encouraging people to defy boycott calls and vote on the 12th of October, many residents choose not to bear the risk.
We have seen people have been pulled out of their homes and slaughtered in cold blood before, during, and even well after the elections when they are identified. And I've asked myself, without wanting to speak for everybody, is it worth the risk?
Cameroon has had just 2 presidents throughout its political history. The man behind me is the second. Under his watch, the armed conflict in the country's Anglophone regions continues to severely affect the lives of millions of people who live there. Now, his opponents in the election are accusing his administration of poorly handling the conflict, promising to offer more workable solutions. Some of Biya's challengers in the election are his former allies Issa Chiroma Bakari, Bello Buba Maigari, and the lone woman in the race, Tomaino Ndamjoya. Despite their criticism, Biya and his government often insist he has made significant efforts to resolve the conflict, citing a national dialogue in 2019 as an example. But when I meet civil society actor Aya Abine on a drizzling afternoon, he tells me the legitimacy of this election could be questioned if the Anglophone community doesn't fully participate.
It will be very illegitimate, the results, of course, because these are Cameroonians, unless the states, like separatist fighters, are saying that they do not belong. If they belong, and they do belong, they are Cameroonians, they have to elect their leaders. But how do they go electing their leaders at gunpoint? That's the problem.
The BBC sent interview requests to some government officials for this story, but didn't hear back. For now, though, many in the Anglophone regions have their fingers crossed, waiting for whoever wins the election to put an end to the conflict which has killed at least 6,000 and displaced nearly 500,000 others. Paul Njie, BBC News, Yaoundé.